Hello and welcome everyone. It's the pre-show. It is almost the Game Awards. So like in roughly an hour or so, there's the Game Awards, and we're gonna restream that. We're gonna have some fun people in the community here. Some will join us today, some not. There's some illness, there's some other problems, and some are just old and want to sleep. We should respect that.
What's wrong?
We can offhand mock it maybe, but we shouldn't. Sleep is important, everyone, so go to sleep, actually. Not go to sleep now. You should watch my stream. It's important. We're going to do a lot of stuff. But first of all, we're just playing some rounds of Delta Force. I kind of wanted to show it off anyway again, because, I now have unlocked more operators. I hate the fact that the current chat is, the chat is just a cesspool in this game, but I kind of found it funny that someone wrote erstmal eine Runde Delta Force, which is just, I hate that I find this funny. This is just the stupidest German humor possible. So yeah, unlocked new operator Toxic. She kind of has the best design. I don't know if she's that good, actually. Okay, ironically, I would say Delta Force kind of ran into the same problems as Battlefield, just due to the same dumb reasons. Because they kind of just copied shit, And that I find hilarious. So, I could... Oh, well, we have a bunch of stuff. Let's go into a round. Play a bit.
The time to strike is now. A tsunami has exposed multiple points of entry to this Havoc stronghold, throwing their forces into disarray. We'll be capitalizing on this opportunity by coming at them with paratroopers, armored vehicles, and infantry. Reinforcements are here. Advance and secure the objective. And secure the attempting to recruit. We must capture the new sectors. Just started our offensive. Break through enemy lines. Capture this sector. Don't give them any ground. Neutralize all enemy forces.
Oh well.
Capture this sector. Don't give them any ground.
Let's push for another area.
Allied troops engaging at objective Bravo 1.
It's funny that Gibraltar has these old buses, almost like they made a bus model off of another bus model in a different game that fit them more because it was made for, you know, rural areas in South America or something.
Allied troops neutralizing objective Bravo 1.
Yep. Hey Zep, how are you doing? Are you here with us today, later on? Do you already want to talk? We could also go into the server already. Have a bit of time to share, you know, that everyone joins and then, you know, the show is starting, stuff like that.
Attack! Keep them out!
Nice. Ah, damn it. Oh. Well then, let's do this. Turn on everyone anyway. Going into the stream chance. Perfect.
Hello.
Hello Zep, how are you doing? It's pre-show to the game announcements slash the game awards.
Yes. The Kojima Awards. I will never ever let Jeff live down the fact that he's obsessed with
He is.
Kojima.
I mean, here's the thing. You know what the funniest part about that is?
Yeah.
By the way, I think you're a bit silent, just a bit.
Oh, sorry, my mic moved.
Yeah. So the irony is, from what I gather, they definitely are friends. Like, you know, but like.
Yeah.
Keely definitely is like, oh hey, I am friends with Kojima, and you know, when it comes down to you know, promoting shit, he's a bit weird about that.
Yeah,
Well,
I can see them being friends, but I can also see Jeff kind of being the clingy, weird type with Kojima specifically.
yeah, I mean, I don't really want to armchair. Oh wait, I killed my own avatar. How stupid am I actually? How utterly dumb.
I have no comment on that.
Yeah, you know what? No, it's just like, yeah, brain. It's late here, and I will get out an energy drink so I can get through the show. But yeah, like he definitely feels a bit like that. But like, yeah. I mean, I think.
Yeah, no, I won't fault him for that. I mean, I think there's a part of him that's probably a little bit starstruck. So I'm not gonna like hit on him too much about it.
I mean,
that said, I think he does give a little too much deference to Kojima.
Yeah, I mean, I think also I get why there's like a little bit of, you know, he knows what is selling. Like, for example, when there are, you know, rumors that the new Hazelight game is, you know, going announced to show, I'm like, almost like, yeah, probably, because, you know, that guy was like, you know, he did the whole fuck the Oscar speech, and that got legendary, and then, you know, Keely was like, hey, let's talk a bit more about him, give him some spot. Like to a degree, you also know it's just, you know, quote-unquote good, you know, how's it called? Showmanship. Like, he knows how to work what people kind of like to see. Even though he does it maybe a little bit too much, but it's not that, you know, this is unpopular stuff.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, like, I mean, this is ironically the same reason why, Shadow of the Earth Tree was nominated, because he was definitely like, oh, it's the Elden Ring fandom. They're big, they're loud, they're, at my shows because I announced Elden Ring back then. Maybe I should, throw them a bone. And, like, I totally get the reasoning how that happened. Like, it's just probably that one time where it really backfired, because, again, the Elden Ring community was like, we should not have been nominated, which, again, shocking that the community is just that open about not being to be nominated. Anyway, but yeah, I think you can sometimes see how people, interact, how that status is like. I mean, when Kojima's like, look, I'm here with, like, I'm meeting that one director, and then they're, like, running around in Licorice Recoil partner shirts around New York.
Yeah.
Because he showed me, like, his favorite bookshop, and you're like, yeah, okay, those are friends. Those are just, like, that's genuinely weirdo friendship.
Yeah, no, I appreciate what they have.
Oh well. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of announcements. I mean, hey, hopes are high that Bloodborne is there again. Lots of stuff actually. Like, recently at least in the Battlefield community, a lot of people are like, maybe they're showing the new title, and it's not impossible. Like, for everyone watching here, oh hey, you're playing Delta Force, talking about Battlefield. Yes, and generally, I'd say, it just says that to the rumors. Like every other year, I would have said, no, there wouldn't be a Battlefield announcement at the Game Awards. Wrong timing. Never. This is the only one I would say there is a slim chance that this could actually happen.
Well, because of last year, it's all of a sudden become very trendy to do so.
It's not only that.
That's not like a brand new thing, but
it's more like Keighley has supplemented E3 effectively anyway. Like, it's like it's the E3 summer announcements and it's the E3 winter announcements. It's just all the Keighley shows now. But the thing why I said it's not impossible that they do this time is for two reasons. First of all, I mean, they usually announce their new game in summer because they then had like a beta in autumn, and then and then also like shortly afterwards there's the release of the full game. So this makes sense for the marketing for a whole game to run off, especially like a multiplayer title. Now, there's one big difference. They already said in an interview earlier this year that the next title will begin testing early next year. Like open testing. So we will see the game sometime next year, 2025. And the thing is, they will probably run some kind of marketing, because they probably won't just drop, the next Battlefield title onto us with no fanfare. They're gonna do some marketing. They're gonna reveal it somewhere. And considering...
No, it would make sense. The idea would be to gain interest in the
game.
Whatever testing is for the game.
Yeah, it's like... They have to show it anywhere, somewhere, so... They already revealed the game at the Summer Game Fest, like the previous title at the Summer Game Fest, so they did it at a Keighley show anyway, so, it would... This is again what I say. I'm not a person who says this is gonna happen. This is just when I say, these are the points that point towards the fact that this is basically the only show left, because the only one we had was a rumored State of Play, and they haven't revealed at the Sony show in a long time.
Yeah.
So that's that. But also...
I mean, if they're going to make it a big thing, then they're going to want to announce it somewhere. And there's nothing that's really eye-catching towards gamers in the early parts of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to do anything, then you get people interested during the winter, during like the holiday season, before the I guess it's a marketing dead season is January and February, where
Yeah.
not only are not many people watching buying stuff, they're watching fewer ads,
Yeah.
and so they're less inclined to do stuff. And this is
Yeah.
for various reasons.
So it just kind of makes
But,
sense
yeah.
that this is why I say, you know, if anyone's like, oh, will they announce it? Will they don't? Will they don't? Like, I know a lot of people, you know, usually do doomerism about shit like that, and I'm like, this is the one time where it makes sense. Similarly to how I said, you know, Bloodborne feels like one of those, either it's a big Sony one or a Keighley show, because, like, again, Keighley kind of does this whole thing of, you know, hogging From Software titles. So if they're, you know, revealing Bloodborne remastered, it's definitely like that. You know, this would probably be one of those rare moments where he probably paid them to get the thing. Simply because this is just too big for his show. Like you want to talk on your show, you reveal something where people are like, oh, like, you know, Elden Ring was revealed, and then like years later when people were like, where's Elden Ring? Where's Elden Ring? You know, at the end of Summer Game Fest, it was like, oh, you know what? We have one more thing, and it's like, what's a juicier one more thing then? Oh, look at that! It's Bloodborne coming.
Roger that.
It's gonna be interesting to see if this ever happens. Like, I feel like at a certain degree, like to a certain degree, where even at the point where, you know, like Sony knows about the meme. I think we can all agree on that, right? Sony knows about that meme. That Bloodborne will never happen.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, it's like the marketing department knows about it.
Copy.
Probably, yeah.
Location.
And like, it wouldn't even surprise me if to a degree they're also playing into it. Like, I mean, if you notice,
so there's a part of me that says yes, and there's a part of me that says that
No.
most marketing departments don't really go too hard into memes because it's very easy to be to do something that to like
yeah,
prepare something and then all of a sudden it becomes outdated. And
I mean,
as a marketing,
there's
like from a marketing
probably-
perspective, you really don't want that because
Yeah.
you could lose an audience.
I
Basically.
mean, an interesting thing is that, how's it called? They just released like a 30-year anniversary trailer, and they had a Bloodborne scene in there with the, you know, label "It's about persistence," and you're like, yes, that fits Bloodborne, but also they kinda knew what they were writing at that point.
I guess. I mean, I tend to be a bit more skeptical about these kinds of things. So there is that aspect.
I mean,
But yeah, I can understand.
in the end, we only know what will be announced, what you
Yeah.
know, the devs said themselves, and that's basically, at this point, it's Borderlands 4 will be shown, and something I've totally forgot. Mafia! The new Mafia game will be there. So it's Borderlands 4 and the Mafia game, so... You know, the Mafia game set in Italy that doesn't have an Italian localization.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably can fix that, and they might just announce it as a gag, like, yeah, we have an Italian localization now. It's like,
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. It's gotten a lot easier for companies to do proper localization recently. Not that they actually do go through with it.
I mean,
But it's become more common. So who
it
knows?
might just have been hard to get one going, but that could also just be the case. Oh yeah, getting some bad guys here. Ah, fuck. It's like, I think it really depends.
Yeah.
But yeah, what we will see, I can say, like, this year, like, as I always say, Bloodborne, it's as good as any year to announce, you know, Bloodborne, but it's usually, as I always say, it's gonna be a Keighley show. That's one of those
But
games
if they don't
where you
announce
will-
it, it's never happening. So go
Yeah.
to sleep.
But also, like,
Yeah.
it's the 10-year anniversary show, so like, he's probably gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna reveal some extra sweet things now. And so it would fit, is what I'm saying. That's all of it.
Yeah.
Like, I
Well, I mean,
will
of
always
course,
say,
for
when
him
you
to
have...
announce it needs to be like in the process of happening. So
Yeah. Like, I think this is
You
always...
can't really count the game that's not going to happen.
Yes. I think this is always a big thing that people need to keep in mind when it comes to predictions or announcements. It's like, you can definitely make some educated guesses based on patterns and, you know, what you know about companies, etc. But then in the end, it's like, yeah, you can never be definitive. I can definitely say, you know, where will Bloodborne be shown? You know, most likely not a Sony show. Similarly,
Roger that. Artillery barrage incoming.
I would say, you know, hey, if anyone wants to clown on the Silksong announcement, today's it's the best chance you have in a long time, because it ain't gonna be a Nintendo show at this point.
If they do announce Silksong at this, that, you know what, Silksong could be the game that is
That or
that
Bloodborne,
could
like
be
they
like the
both
game.
don't. I mean, the thing is more like, you know, Bloodborne was the thing they always pulled out for Sony once. Silksong was the one they always pulled out for Nintendo once. But, I mean, I want the Dragon Guard 3 collection and Dragon Guard 4. Yeah, you know what? Never happening. I mean, the thing is that, yeah, I think to a degree, Bloodborne and Silksong just have become so big, they probably won't be announced at any of those shows because, like, again, those shows usually are where, you know, I mean, that's the thing. Shows are usually there where you want to know, okay, where's the most of your audience that you can show it to, or like, and especially for indie titles, that was just a, like, usually it was just a good move to show it in Nintendo Direct, because usually a solid amount of people will watch a Nintendo Direct and then bitch about that there is no new Zelda announced that will just, you know, revolutionize gaming. Even though the best, the last Zelda's, you know. Okay, here's the thing.
Artillery barrage ready.
I'm not gonna shit on Zelda fans that much, but it's still funny that the most, you know, the last two Zelda games inspired in terms of, you know, design were gacha games. There's one Breath of the Wild clone that is a genuine normal game, and it's from Ubisoft.
Artillery barrage incoming.
Well, I mean, are we including Palworld in this?
I mean, that is just not clone.
Fair, yeah. It's
Yeah.
less so inspired, more so a clone.
Then again, that game rips from everywhere. It's like, hey,
It does. I mean, that's the operational, like, craft behind the studio.
It's
They
more like-
take
Yeah.
everything that looks good and does that and goes with it. So
yeah. I mean, that's also the thing where, like, the last two ones were more like again, you had, you know, the you know, Immortals Phoenix Rising, which apparently is good because, you know, from what I heard, it's like it's you know, Zelda with a combat system. So neat, actually. But yeah, every other title is it's Genshin Impact or some variation of that. It's just all gacha games at this point. Just more gacha games have cloned Zelda at this point than actual games. And it's very funny how everyone held up. As you know, there are these big games that, you know, no one else you know, no one else, you know, can review, and it's like, then, like, kind of the bottom of the barrels of video gaming just copy them. You're like, oh, okay.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
If you can make a good game out of that, then fine.
Honestly, I kind of expected to see more games, but I think the best you can get is like, I mean, the second Horizon game has a glider, still need to film that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, the glider was probably, but also, like, you know, Horizon is Horizon. It's like, it's more like, oh yeah, glider is neat. Puts glider in. The rest is more like, it's still Horizon. So you can't really say,
Yeah.
oh, this was really an inspiration. It's more like, it's more to the fact that how remember when Tomb Raider was rebooted,
Kind of, yeah.
and then every game had a bow,
Had a what?
had a bow and arrow. Every game had bow and arrow.
I get where you're going with this, but I do kind of feel like that's a bit of a...
I mean, it's more like, this isn't less of, I don't know why, also, like, I can say, it was just like, that game came out, and then basically the next 2 years or so, it's basically, people called it the year of the bow, because there were so many bows in video games. Like, every fucking, you know what the funniest bit was? They revealed Crysis 3 back then, and everyone was like, oh, there's a bow now. And they were like, yeah, look, it's a bow now, that's a big feature, and everyone's like, but you're the shooting game. Why do you have bow?
Well, I mean, there is another thing where it's just like, it's kind of funny to like own the enemy with a bow in a shooter.
I mean, yes, to a degree, but I think one of the funniest bits to me was that there was an interview where basically, was it from the GameStar, like German magazine, and basically the only thing they asked was why bow, and they couldn't answer it. They were like, yeah, it's just a new mechanic, and they're like, yeah, but, and you can use different arrows, and like, yeah, but in the end it's just like not shooting with gun, and they were like, it's like, so the game is built around the bow, and they were like, no, it's not, like, you have things you can do with the bow, and they were like, so it's not built around the bow, so why can't I just shoot? And they were like, but bow.
Yeah,
it's very funny it was very funny that they were just like, kind of like they were just completely taken, like, oh fuck, we can't explain the bow, we just kind of wanted to put bow, like, it's so funny because, okay, so here's the thing, that there's this thing that I think a lot of what's it called, game, like a lot of devs or people who talk about media kind of want to make want to actually make it want to make meaningful specifications about their work and shit, but I think the funniest part about that is that to a big degree but to a big degree, it is just you can't really say a lot of stuff about games. Like it is to a degree just, oh, you want to put bow in game, you want to put bow in game. That is kind of your end time. But like, I get why people, especially when they get especially when you get confronted with, why did you do that? That a lot of people are like panicking, they're like, oh shit. I need an excuse. I need an explanation. And the thing is, excuses, those are easy. Explanations, those are hard.
It's difficult to kind of like explain your reasoning when you thought, we just had the idea and it wasn't too hard to implement.
Yeah.
Like that's not a good answer. Like, and that going into the interviews, like.
Yes.
They're not gonna. This is the answer, but they're not gonna be happy. No one's gonna be happy to hear this answer.
Yeah, and like I think the funniest point about that is that to a big degree, it's just, listen, you just made the thing that was the hot new shit back then, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But also,
and sometimes, it doesn't need to necessarily be like, I was copying the other game.
Yeah.
It could just be, I thought of the idea randomly and it just kind of worked.
Yeah,
and even if you did see it and you didn't think about copying, it's still like maybe they subliminally wanted to put it in.
I mean, I don't know. Also, to a degree, is the fact that making a bow work right in like a third or first person environment is not that easy. Like
depends on how you work on how you code it and design it. Because
yes, code and design, but like I think the big difference, the big I want to point out here is that first of all, I need to check what I will use here. So one of the big things is that you basically have this. You know what? Let's just use Bow Girl again.
Attack! Keep them out!
Oh yeah, this is the weakest beach landing again because it's not a beach landing. The enemies can't walk up to the beach. You just drive the boats to the beach. It's just a fucking scam for beach landing. Like, give me actual Iwo Jima. Like, they even made the beaches dark just so it looks like Iwo Jima, but no. I mean, the thing is more like, you know, people. I think one of the big parts is that people tend to do pattern recognition, you know, and sometimes.
Yeah, well, it's human nature too.
And especially back then, a lot of people are like, oh, hey, there are a lot of bows now. There are a lot of, you know, and let's just be real here. There are a lot of people who are just not smart when they talk about video games because there are like a lot of reasons why there are, you know, bows. Because, for example,
And you know what could have happened with the bows? What could have happened is that maybe someone in the dev sphere figured out how to do bows easily or in a simple way.
I mean, the thing is more like
they just passed the word on, being like, "Oh, you can do bows now," and other devs were like, "Oh,
yes,
awesome! I've always wanted to do
because
this."
that's most likely what happened. Because if you think about it, bows before that were kind of, you know, done like, well, the Zelda style. You know, you had like a lock-on. They were usually in adventure games. They're very simple. Stuff like that. And then you had basically The Last of Us and, you know, Tomb Raider doing bows, and you suddenly had like this blueprint of, oh hey, yeah, you know, you will join later anyway, so sure, join, we can talk. So like, a lot of people were like, oh hey, oh shit, I have a feeling how bows should work anyway now. And like, yeah, it's kind of funny because in the end you realize, okay, all of the bows kind of feel the same.
So I don't know much about coding, but I'd imagine that bows could be done by just like if you have bullet drop.
Yeah.
Anyways, you can literally just scale that.
You could do that, but it's a bit hard to balance. Also, hello Date6, how are you doing? Welcome to the pre-show for the Game Awards. We're doing the, you know, we have Battlefield at Home game. And, honestly, okay, ironically, I really like playing scouts in this game. Okay, I actually like playing scouts in Battlefield as well, because it's just fun. It's just the good old, you know, you run in the backline, you place down the spawn beacon, and you pour out of the backline. It's a very fun combo. I can only recommend it for everyone.
It's like also the first time I see gameplay of this game, actually. It looks fun.
It's,
I don't know if we're going to play
let me
it,
just
but...
put it like this. I can almost guarantee you when at the beginning of next year there's the next Battlefield, it's gonna be the Battle game. This game is basically, it steals every single thing in its gameplay from somewhere. Like, the whole structure and even maps are like... So, one of the funniest things is that one map in this game basically looks like, you know, basically looks like a concept art from the Season 4 map of 2042. Because they had shown an underground section of that map before, but the underground section is a really smaller flashpoint in Battlefield. But this, one of the other maps in this game just basically looks like that. It's like a complete underground map. But then also they also put in a biodome because 2042 had a biodome, I guess. It's not like that I would say, you know, the maps are, you know, one-to-one copies, but you can see where the inspirations were. Like, oh hey, here's a trench map that was from Battlefield 1. Here's a...
I really want to be mean. It's a bit like the stereotypical of Chinese game copying stuff from other...
The whole main gameplay is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. You know, the new one. And then the specialists are, you know, basically copied from either Battlefield or Black Ops 4 or Valorant. It's like, yeah. But yeah, no, the thing I want to point out is like, yeah, what the thing that what I really want to cement is that why there were both that year is mostly that, well, I think it was probably mostly, you know, the Tomb Raider reboot and The Last of Us that had good bows, and then everyone was like, oh shit, I think we know because the thing is getting getting a satisfying bow ballistic.
Attack! Keep them out!
That's
Yeah.
like the most important thing, and those two games had satisfying bow ballistic. So
But I also think what I wanted to say, that's why I wanted to join the call, is I think both are also a good way to just show different types of ammunition, like just normal arrow or explosive
Sure,
arrows
sure.
and so on. Every time you have a bow in the game, you also have just different bow arrow types, and
It's
a
so
lot
easy
easier
to
to show
justify
than.
like tech. It's so easy to justify making weird tech for
Yeah.
arrow types than it is bullet types.
Yeah, it's not
It's
realistic, but in a way it's fun and people like bows.
Yeah, that's-
At least I'm a bit biased. I really like bows when it comes to
There we
like
have
sword
bow.
against bows. I'm a bow person.
bows are fun, yeah. I mean, also bows are more versatile than you think. Like there's a great channel on YouTube where someone was like, oh yeah, like for example, nowadays we're like, oh, bows are precision and shit, and like actually, classic archers were mostly like, let's fire like big fast because we need to get arrows down lane fast. Like the French aren't waiting for Britain.
And fuck the French.
Yeah,
Like in general.
Britain and France, they had some good beef going back in the day. That's,
Yeah, it was toxic Fury back then, basically.
it
Of the
was
Middle Ages.
basically. Or Toxic Yaoi mostly. Anyway,
Yeah.
100-Year War described as Toxic Yaoi. Only in this. Welcome to the chat. Yeah. Date6, what are your predictions for the Game Awards? Aside, the ones that were announced already. Borderlands. But I have a jolly good time watching that and reacting to all the things. I mean, yeah, it's just there are some trends in video games, and it's funny because then you can point out
that's-
like, oh hey, Crysis suddenly has that. But also the thing is, as much I actually got that one Humble Bundle they had, where there is Crysis 1, 2, and 3 in there, remastered. So we're gonna have Crysis 1, 2, and 3 remastered streams soonish. Everyone, get ready for that.
Yeah, I need to play this game again.
Okay, sometimes
Crysis 1, I
yes.
only played the PS3 version, which is not good.
I think the funny bit about that is everyone's like, oh, but Crysis 1 was so good, but like Crysis 1 was a mess. Let's just put it like this.
Yeah.
Like the first half is a tech demo, the second half tries to be a shooter, and both are just kind of mediocre. Like, sorry,
I always
Crysis
like
1 is a
the
bit
second
mediocre.
one more.
Yeah, that's
I
the
mean,
thing.
the
Okay, can I say one thing?
sorry, yeah.
The first
Yeah.
one is just they had a lot of interesting ideas, but the control of the suit was like, oh, you have these five functions, and then you realize a bunch of them are just they're kind of stupid, like, which is the reason why they basically just put them together in the second game, which made more sense. Except if you're like one of those PC people who are just insistent that the first game was so good. It wasn't. Play more games. God damn it.
Well, I mean, it was fun to a certain degree, at least.
I mean,
But-
it wasn't bad. Like, but it wasn't the thing people put it up to be as this is like the
yeah,
perfect
that's-
game actually. Like, Crysis 1 was fun but mediocre. Like, it ran out
The
of
thing
steam
was, it
fast.
was like mostly like this. I mean, it's always a bit mean to say when you say it just was like the graphic blender, but
It was.
it kinda was,
It was.
and
graphic
like
blender.
that's why it's extremely badly optimized, and people didn't know back
Oh
then.
no, it
it's-
was just also badly programmed. That's just the
yeah,
thing.
yeah, that's
like
and people didn't get that because games like this basically get released today as well, but people actually complain about it if the game is badly optimized. Today it was basically revolutionary, and can it run Crysis? It's a meme still today.
the
and-
funniest bit is some PCs probably could have run Crysis, but here's the thing. You know what the problem was for them? So Crysis was specifically built as a game that used SLI. If you remember that thing.
Yeah, I remember.
So everyone who's,
I remember when my dad had a, of course, cracked version of Crysis, and
Yeah.
I mean, he had a really beefy PC. He could run it with 60 FPS, and it runs fine back then. And
But basically,
It was
for everyone
interesting.
who doesn't know, SLI was basically this idea that you slotted in 2 graphic cards, like the same ones, and basically double your power output. This was basically kind of the thing that everyone used to have all those, wonderful tech demos, which were just kind of proof of concept, because you kind of needed a setup that was, not the average PC. So, yes, with GPUs back then, if you slotted 2 of them in them, you could have technically had enough processing power to get Crysis 2 run relatively well on paper. In practice, it ran worse. You know why? Because SLI support had to be developed by the devs themselves. The SLI support for Crysis sucked ass. It just straight sucked ass. It was just bad. It was not well programmed. It was worse. Which is why even when later, stuff was stronger, people put in SLI and were like, and only then they noticed, because they were like, wait a second, my PC smokes this. Why is it worse when I put on SLI? And then it realized, oh god. Yeah, Crysis was just a mess in that regard. But
also like graphical impressive games at the time, like I don't know, Assassin's Creed or a year later Dead Space 1, they're also graphically pretty impressive, and they were pretty fine at the time.
And which Assassin's Creed are we talking about, though?
The first one, like for just for the graphics.
Oh yeah. The first one was a little bit, in some ways, game changing.
Oh yeah, the first Assassin's Creed was like, there was before and after, but like rightfully before and after, I'd say.
Yep.
But like, I think the irony is that to a degree, Crysis 1 and 2.
I mean, they came also in the same year, if I remember correctly.
The thing is with Assassin's Creed 1 and 2, they're like the same as Crysis 1 and 2. Like the first game is like, oh hey, not a lot of new concepts, but the execution is a bit mediocre, but impressive. And then the second games are the focused ones that focus really on what make the game good, because that's the thing. If anyone comes to me, but Crysis 2, Crysis 1 had so much big open areas, I will say to this day, open areas do not make a shooter good. Open areas
Crysis
could
1 is
be
a
fun,
lot better game.
but like a lot of times they're usually stretching, because you need, better, you need a lot better design to make an open area work.
Essentially, the thing is that a lot of open areas are not properly designed for shooters.
It just they're open because they can be open, and this is why I will always say Crysis 2 is one of those games where, like, yes, is it their take on Half-Life? Yes, it's their take on Half-Life. It's a really good
Half-Life was
take on Half-Life.
a relatively new game at the time still, so
I mean,
it's crazy when you think about it.
It's
when came
Crysis
Crysis 2? 2011, I think, right?
Yeah. But like, that is why I say Crysis 2 is, in my opinion, if you replay that series, it's always gonna be the best one, I think, because it really is like, oh, the levels are smaller, yes, but for that the combat is like really focused on what it's good at, and you have stuff like also it just has other great design decisions, like for example, oh hey, your upgrades are directly tied to engaging with the strongest enemies in the game, so playing on high difficulties you're suddenly like, I should maybe not go in guns blazing, maybe I should actually use stealth, because those are free upgrades after all. And you just sit there and be like,
the stealth in this game is so much fun. It's a really great stealth game in general.
It is generally, like, it's a great stealth game, but then you start shooting and it's also a good shooting game. Like, sorry, Crysis 2 is just a really good game. I played it a lot, like, fun fact,
same.
I have the fucking Xbox 360 version, I played it on that.
But that's embarrassing.
I didn't have a good PC back in the day, so whoops.
Yeah.
And then this is why I want to say why Crysis 3 always felt so weird, even though some people swear on it up and down. Because Crysis 3 really felt like the one game they felt obligated to do, but didn't have ideas. So it was like, you have a bow now, and like, okay, that's fun, and like, our areas are bigger now, and it's New York, but it's overgrown, and you're like, you really ran out of ideas there, right?
Yeah, Crysis 3 is not bad, but it feels like it's... I mean, to be fair, Crysis 2 also did it a bit, but Crysis 3 is more like chases trends, and...
Yeah, like 2
in comparison,
like...
it feels a lot more generic. And the whole story completely falls apart. Like, first and 2 also was bullshit, but the third one was like, okay, we tried to combine it a little bit, but it didn't work out.
It rips Resistance, that says everything.
I want the
Oh.
PC. Oh, you know what? I want the PC port of the Resist trilogy.
Actually, you know what? Yes, Resistance 1, 2, and 3 I would love to see. It's similar with Killzone, but Killzone 1 probably
Yeah,
needs a remake,
also.
but yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, they don't need to remake. No, the first one, but 2 and 3, they're still graphically pretty
Yeah, I said the
impressive.
first one needs a remake.
Okay,
The second and third, yeah, no, those still look like amazing.
it's still like every time I played the third one not that long ago a bit, and it's like you can't just release it in 60 FPS and higher resolution, and you will still think it's the next gen. How did they make it? I don't get it.
It's Dutch magic. Also, hello
Yeah,
Taurus,
this-
why I'm dying. I'm not that good. Also, it's late and I'm not on my energy drink yet.
But yeah, especially Resistance 3 is such a good game. I
Resistance
missed it.
3 is like unironically so good. It's like, I mean,
Yeah.
is it Half-Life?
It's a better Half-Life 2. That's my
It,
take.
it is a better Half-Life 2. It's early enough. Yeah, I will
That's
be
your
awake for a
problem.
long time. You're joining us
I mean,
for
technically
the
it's also-
for the restream. You know what? Let's kill some with this Scar Age. Haven't tried that gun out yet.
It's not nice that you're killing people.
Yeah, it's like.
You're a bad person.
Ugh. It's like, yeah, the thing is that I sit there and be like, Crysis 3 really was more like, oh, we kind of need to do it, and... I mean, also one thing I really disliked about the game was that they, was the fact that they went and were like, oh, hey, you don't get upgrades from killing the aliens anymore, and just said, I mean, like,
Yeah, that was a nice.
that's kind of a stupid idea, but like, why? I mean, isn't it 90?
No, they had a law explanation for it, so
Yeah, it's
but
like-
whatever. I mean, like when it comes to law and the story, the games are like
The second
really
one was the
bullshit.
best, sorry.
I mean, I like the ending. If they're not, I'm profited. That was cool. I don't get it, but I like. Was Prophet Reborn in this scene?
I guess, but I mean, we will never have Crysis 4, so who knows? But
I mean, the rights are in Crytek, right? They have
yeah,
the
from what I
rights.
know, it's
So-
not like with Brutal Legend where
Yeah.
it's with EA, I think. Anyway,
I don't know.
so yeah, hey, any what's the predictions for the Game Awards announcement wise?
Greg and the
Go.
Game 4.
Oh well. But yeah, it's like, there's some stuff. Like I said, I think the chance of a Battlefield announcement this time is not zero. And, otherwise, I mean, it's the 10-year show, so he probably is not gonna make it a mediocre one. Like,
Hopefully. The problem with the Game Awards are like, they make mistakes and then try to overcorrect them the next year, especially like with the speeches and so on,
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah,
last
like,
year. And I just hope like the last year's show was just bad, and
it wasn't
hopefully
like
they make some
interesting
better stuff.
announcements, but like, yeah, please wrap it up. Please wrap it up. Please wrap it up.
yeah, like I get why they make it, but like I said, it was overcorrection. Like the
was-
first time, what was a bit funny, but if one of the devs like try to make a speech about a dead, what was it, a dead co-worker or something? Yeah, that was respectless. Like
it's-
I'm not saying I don't blame them. Like it was like part of the plan. Okay, we make it, but a bit more humanity.
I mean, it's also
Would be
just
fine.
like, I do not know who made those timetables. It's like, good lord. You can leave
Timetable
pretty-
also didn't make sense for a game show. Game show. Not a game show. They didn't make sense for a awards show.
Yeah, that's the problem with the Game Awards in general. That's a bit a hot take, not really a hot take, but the Game Awards are a award show, but they are a commercial, a big commercial, and
Yeah.
that's why in the end I would say, even though I have a lot of problem with the Oscars are contained
Yeah.
within the Oscars. You only have the Oscars, you only have the show, you only have the actors and everything. The Game Awards are just, oh, you have commercials, and the most reason why we watch it is
The
the
commercials.
announcement, not the awards. Let's be honest.
It's kind of funny because I think I recall hearing something, because I remember years ago, I think Jeff had specifically said that he wanted something to be something that was I think better for the it was he had some beef against the Oscars that he wanted to be
No,
better.
understandable.
about.
The Oscar
And
sucks, but
yet he's basically doing the one thing. He's refusing to do the one thing that the Oscars did good, like really good.
yeah.
I mean, the
So it's
Oscars
they-
are like,
Yeah.
they're
Like
definitely a
video
bit
games are
like-
still scared to be proud of themselves. I have the feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I get
Yeah.
why there is a big awards. Okay, here's the thing. There's a reason why they announce so much stuff at the Game Awards because like here's a sad thing. This is the only reason why how you get people to watch it. Period. Like
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
Like I said,
I
we
totally
only
get it.
watch. Or the main reason is for the announcements. Let's be honest.
and also here are two things I would say. I know people shit on the announcements, but and this is a big hot take. I don't think they're handled that badly for two reasons. First of all, yes, it actually makes people, tune into the Game Awards. That's worth something, I'd say. Again, Golden Joysticks or other shows, they are, they are broadcasting, but no one is really watching them because it's similar to, like, it's one of the reasons people watch the Oscars is, it's kind of a comedy show nowadays. They try to get prestige while, Keighley is just like, no, fuck this shit. I'm just showing announcements. But second of all, and this is something I will always say about Keighley shows, he is really good at securing indie games a spot.
Designated location.
Because
that's true.
they could have flooded that show with just the biggest AAA announcement of all time. They could have done that, and they're not doing it. There's always room for like, here's an indie game, here's another indie game. Indie games that probably would not have sold remotely as well. And having, like, oh hey, yeah, there's an award show, and now we're just showing like, here's a new indie game coming up that might even be, the next, it might be the next one, the next big one. Who knows? So yes, it's like this is not really the bad point, I would say, because again, how do you get, quote unquote, the gamers to watch something? You need to bait them, and like on that point, I am not blaming them. It's just,
I mean, the reason is totally understandable. Like,
yeah, I think the other part is more like, oh hey, we have we have one person talk half an hour. Please wrap it up, and you're like, good lord, Keighley, you can let them talk a few minutes. Most of these people didn't even want to spend half an hour. But also,
yeah, like I said, it's an overcorrection.
yeah,
The idea wasn't bad, but to that extent, like it was like 30 seconds the moment they just breathe basically, and give them a minute at least.
Give
That's
them
enough for the
something.
most people.
it's like, yeah,
People are gonna want to have their time and like their moment of fame.
it's an
Yeah,
award
They
show.
should, get,
Yeah.
they should get a moment to say something about
And
it.
like, here's the thing, considering everyone still remembered Christopher, I think Christopher, what was his name again?
Yeah, I look it up. I know.
Basically, they remembered him from Stargate. And
Yeah.
him being like, no, I'm Kratos now, and I really love that role, and I live for that. And you're like, oh yeah, you know what? This guy,
And he has style. Like
he has fucking style, yes.
he
But
looks so hot.
Christopher
I
Judge.
can't just-
Christopher Judge was it.
Ah yeah, well,
Like,
yeah.
him going there and being like, listen, this means so much for me, and I'm happy that I touched so many people's hearts with a good performance. Like, oh yeah, you know what? That guy understood it. Like, that, I think this is probably the thing where I would say Keighley really, really needs to get that part together, because his big problem is that he keeps he just keeps being
Artillery barrage
how's it
incoming.
called? He just keeps, I don't know, he doesn't, it doesn't feel like his show is appreciating the people actually doing the work. And like,
Yeah.
the thing is, and this is probably something I kind of want to point out, that the Game Awards is kind of like still a bit important. I know people are probably like, why the Game Awards? Why this? Why that? Like,
No, they are important.
They're the biggest.
but
They're simply the
but I
biggest.
yeah, this, but I would say in the end they're going to be more like a stepping stone to be like for video games to be fully accepted as an art form. Like, yeah, some countries are accepting in theory games as an art form and so on, but they aren't to this day.
I mean,
And
they are to a big degree actually, but like it's just.
yeah, but not as as movies or
I mean, you know what?
TV shows.
Here's I would say. Here's one thing I would say. The thing about that statement is that I would disagree on one fundamental level. Because the big difference I would say is that movies are not really like appreciated as an art form by the people who should actually appreciate them as art forms. So, okay, this might sound a bit weird, but hear me out. If
but
anything,
wouldn't it be the same with
like
games?
no, the Oscar, like here's the thing, the Oscars and shit basically exist because there is, let's just put it like how it is. There's kind of a small group of people that really watch those, you know, really in-depth movies actually and rate them. Okay? They are. That's the thing. And this, yes, to a degree, the Oscars are, you know, from the industry to be like, look what we did, look how great we are, look what, how much we, you know, what we produced.
Yeah, it's a circle jerk.
And to a degree, the Game Awards are also that. But there's one big difference. The majority of movies and shows and everything is also just not respected as an art form. Like, I think I can circle back to a big point here, and that is that streaming wouldn't be as big if it was actually respected. Because, here's the thing. Everyone's like, one of the biggest things when people talk about, oh hey, movies and shit, is not about it's not about what they did, like, you know, in our circles. Sure, we do that, you know, like, fun fact, by the way, if everyone wondering, we're probably gonna watch a movie together on the Discord soonish, because turns out a certain new Christmas movie is actually on Amazon Prime and we can stream it, so we will make a movie watch night.
Was it the Santa Slay or?
Red One. Time to sit and
The one that Dwayne The Rock Johnson has been like pushing and being like, oh, it's the ultimate new movie. Everybody's gonna love it.
Yes.
You know what? Fuck it.
Another Dwayne Rock Johnson movie. I could not have guessed.
I think the funniest bit about that is that Dwayne The Rock Johnson seems to be genuinely like interested in in movie making, but like, you know, I mean,
He is, but
I like him as the wrestler more, to be
he
honest.
does not have a talent for like producing movies.
like, here's the thing: Dwayne The Rock Johnson is Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and he needs something.
He's very
written-
charismatic. to be
You know,
honest,
no.
but
The thing is,
he
Dwayne The
makes a
Rock
lot of
Johnson
slop.
needs something that is specifically written for Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He can't just fill other roles. That's just kind of a thing. Ironically, he doesn't really have the acting talent in that. Like, you know what?
So here's the thing about him. He's
His charisma.
got acting talent, but it's
Yeah.
in a very specific direction. It's
Yeah.
in the action comedy genre.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
He
true.
does not. He's not. He can't really do anything else. It's
Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't okay. He basically is an actor because pro wrestling and everything, but I also have the feeling like, is his name something that people still like? Do people watch a movie because of Dwayne Rock Johnson to this day? I have the feeling like, what was his name again? The Aquaman actor.
Honestly,
also Stargate.
Jason Momoa. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Jason Momoa.
yeah. I
watch
bet
because
he
he's
is a
good
bit like
actor.
the new one. I have the feeling.
I mean, okay. Honestly, Jason Momoa, I will watch because he's genuinely a good actor. Like,
Yeah, that's the
that's
difference.
the thing.
Like,
But like, I think the Dwayne The Rock Johnson is more like look at it like that. When I heard, oh hey, he's playing a special operations force employed under Santa Claus, I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'm down with that. That's, you know, like that's again, that's the whole. It's a role written for Dwayne The Rock Johnson because
yeah, but
the guy kind of feels out of place anyway. So just maximize that.
yeah, I get what you mean, but I also feel like it's a bit like, I want to be don't want to be mean, but it feels like a slop at this point. Like there was also like a
bit.
movie about him being a tooth fairy and something. If you say it's the same thing in the end.
I mean,
Just a different mythical creature.
It's not wrong that he definitely gets cast in a bunch of slop. Actually, like this isn't a
I mean, he
situation
gets money,
where
so I could blame no?
yeah, this isn't a situation where for example, Arnold Schwarzenegger got the role for the Terminator because he was basically auditioned for a different role, and then just James Cameron was like, wait, shit, that guy can act actually. Okay, so for everyone who doesn't know, the whole thing why Arnold Schwarzenegger got the role for the role of the Terminator was the original concept of the Terminator was more of like a haggard, shriveled guy, like just a very, very normal, like bit of incel vibes, little bit of incel vibes, I would say. Like that kind of guy that just is overlooked in the mass. but then it's more like oh hey shit, that's actually a deadly robot. Help. That was the original concept of the Terminator.
Yeah.
The thing is just how's it called? The studio basically was like, we need like a big name to play, John Connor.
It was at the time.
So they wanted. So this is so funny when people say like, oh, Sylvester Stallone was in the, to play the Terminator, which wasn't actually a thing. The Terminator was supposed to, Schwarzenegger was supposed to play John Connor because they wanted like a big stoic guy to play that role. And if you look at the actual casting of John Connor later, it's babyface Schwarzenegger. If you think about it, it's babyface Schwarzenegger.
I always had the feeling like it was Schwarzenegger was casted because like he was a big name because of Conan and like he has a big muscle and at the time people like this stuff.
That's actually the interesting part about that. This is actually not how it went down. He was actually hired for he was sent there to be talked about with John Connor, and Cameron was actually against him. He didn't want Connor to look like that, and he kind of got his wish. Again, the new Connor, the Connor in the movie is how's it called? Very much like he looks inexperienced, but determined, and like that. That's
like a normal guy.
It fits way better. But the interesting part was because he was like, yeah, I guess I have to talk to Arnold at least, so the studio is happy. What happened was that Arnold was like, oh wait, you play a robot trying to go to blend into society. Oh, how would that acting look? And then he just in front of camera went through like, how would motions look robotic enough, but like still natural, but like kind of robotic that's just off. And the fact is, because he did that in front of James Cameron was like, ah shit, that guy has to play the Terminator.
Yeah,
he's actually in that
accent helped a lot with it. I think this is what I heard about, like that his accent, like he has an Austrian accent and that doesn't speak it like a native speaker.
Ironically,
that also act like with the alien feeling.
That was ironically not. It mainly contributed to the overall feeling, but ironically, no, he was casted because he was in front of James Cameron and just acted the Terminator, and Cameron was like, "Fuck, that's what I want from the Terminator. I have."
He is a good actor. Like
he's a good.
People always or often say he isn't, but no.
Here's the thing: the problem.
He is relatively versatile.
The problem Arnold Schwarzenegger has is that he's a good actor, cast in bad roles. Like that's the thing, right? That's the thing.
Okay, now you have to explain. I don't really get it, to be honest.
Okay, look. Let me put it like this: Arnold Schwarzenegger was usually cast because he's big and muscular and shit. Like he was cast for his physique. This is why
he was Mr. Universe back then.
He was that, yes. But also, then he was cast for Conan the Barbarian because they needed someone who looks like a barbarian, so they casted him. And he still delivered some nice good, but I think the key is if you look at, if he's in Cameron movies and shit, you clearly see the guy can act. He has charisma, he has acting, you know what, here's the thing. it's kind of wild that no one has cast Arnold Schwarzenegger in like a genuine, rom-com, because it would have been great.
I'm
Just
pretty
saying.
sure he's been in.
I mean, the closest
Okay, there
one
was
would
probably
be
one.
basically Twins, I guess.
I guess, but like, the thing is that then everyone was like, I mean, the problem is, it's the same thing that Dwayne The Rock Johnson has right now. It's, he gets cast into the big muscular guy slot genre.
Yeah.
The whole, haha, isn't it funny because, big muscular guy does it.
Yeah, but I have the feeling like he wants this kind of role, but I'm not going to say he's a bit,
Yeah.
generally a bad actor or anything, but he knows this is the role he can play good.
I mean, it's also, let me put it like this. I think he knows he can play multiple roles well, but it's similar to the, how's it called? How's it called again?
Yeah, back in the 90s, Schwarzenegger was in a couple of rom-coms.
Oh!
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me. But they really probably weren't that well written. So the thing is that, what I want to point
I
out...
can't really say much about that because I haven't seen them. But they must have done well for him to get into the, for him to be known on Hollywood at least.
I mean, the thing is, he had some good movies, but he's similar to Nicolas Cage. He likes playing bad roles.
Yeah.
He likes going ham. He likes doing that kind of shit. And I think a lot of people think, because of that, oh, he's bad and he does that. And usually if you look at a lot of that bad movies, he usually sticks out by being actually pretty good at what he does.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing, and that's why I love him. I watch a lot of Nicolas Cage movies, also like many of the
I said this about
like really
Schwarzenegger.
bad ones, to be honest. Like he wasn't really bad movies, but he was always a highlight. Like I like this person, and from what I heard, he is generally a nice person. So
Yeah.
I like him, and I like to watch him.
And
And
it's
especially
like-
over the last couple of years, he made some really artsy movies. Like what was it again, Megan or no?
I don't
Like this female
Megan sounds
name.
correct.
Yeah, it's a female name with M. Yeah. Now I have to look it up. Mandy. It was close.
Yeah. But yeah, close enough.
But yeah, Mandy is a great movie. I can recommend it. And also, like for example, like in Dead by Daylight, he just is in there because probably because of the money, but also like, okay, it's a weird thing. I'm going to do it,
Yeah.
and that's pretty fun. It's funny. A mutual of mine just started playing Dead by Daylight and was basically shocked. Why is he in this game? It's so fucking funny.
Well, oh well. So yeah, in 12 minutes does the Game Awards start, so I think we're gonna end this game right here a bit. And everyone you stay in chat, I'd say. And I will be back in a second. See you all. Reload the page.
Load.